let's start off the video by showing you scenes from the opening montage of the Luco Pizzolio short film In the Valley of the Moon. It's a short film that has a lot of golden coloring in it, like a golden color graded color palette that's like a Wes Anderson like in terms of what it reminds me of. And yet we know what the focus of an individual shot should be on. I'm going to play the opening montage, and then I'm going to tell you how you can tell what you should be focusing on in a scene, right? I'll stop it there. So despite the fact that there is so much going on in these scenes, in terms of the coloring and in terms of what's happening on camera, you know what the vocal point should be. And when each individual text appears on screen, you know that the vocal point should clearly be on the text, right? Because like in the front of everything else. But what about the characters, right? You're supposed to clearly be focusing on these individual characters in this opening montage. And the camera, also in terms of following the rule of thirds, you know exactly what the vocal point should be. You can see that the green character is centered. Is mostly centered on the frame, let alone the fact that the camera is clearly focusing on him. When you're making anything, and most good pieces of media do this very well, obviously, because it's like the bare minimum. But when you're making a shot of any kind, the vocal point that aids the story has to be kept in mind. What should the vocal point of the shot be? Whether it be the camera, in terms of what it's focusing on, or following the rule of thirds, or anything like that. What should the vocal point of a scene be, right? And despite In the Valley of the Moon being such a color-graded movie, you could look at, say, this shot right here. There's a lot going on in the shot in terms of details with the car, but your focus is obviously on the main character. It's very well done in that way. It's supposed to be well done by design for a piece of media that tells a story, right? And then you have Jaiden Animations. Her entire point, in terms of following this rule, is to usually just color her videos black, white, brown with her hair, and grayish purple, basically. But then she does occasionally use color to aid the point of her story, or to basically show us what the vocal point of the scene should be. At the moment, it doesn't seem like Chikiwa and Momongo's blushes being pink, as well as the little blue between Momongo's eyes, seems relevant at all, right? That seems completely irrelevant to what I'm going to be saying, but we'll get back to that.
Back in April, Chikawa started teasing their newest project.
If you look closely, because of the projects he's looking at, you can see the pink little blush lines in Jaiden's cheeks. They'll be relevant in just a second.
Chikawa Park.
And now you can see the entire Chikiwa Park animation screen. I don't know if that's official or not, but it's entirely colored. And that makes sense, because what should the vocal point of the scene be? It should be on Chikiwa Park, that screen. Because this is not a scene that necessarily follows the rule of thirds. And if this was, like, not colored, it probably wouldn't hit as hard, quite as hard as it actually does what the vocal point is. But it works perfectly because it's the one thing that's colored, aside from Jaiden's hair, which is pretty typical for her hair to be colored purple in these animations. And it's pretty typical for her hair to be colored brown in these animations anyway, so that doesn't stick out as much, you know?
Despite them not revealing any follow-up details at all, I was obviously frothing at the mouth. Over the next few months,
Here's another genius use of coloring to aid the vocal point in this video. You see, this bird right here,
information
the refresh button and the refresh words being blue, followed by the bird himself being colored, as that's literally what's refreshing the page every now and again. Plus, when Tostada, Jaiden's cat, enters the scene,
slowly,
he's colored, which makes sense considering what the gag of what he's about to do is, or she. I'm not entirely sure actually. We'll get back to that in a sec.
Slowly started being unveiled until finally.
You see, that's relevant to the gag. The entire point of the refresh button to aid what the bird was doing, and that's why Jaiden's upset that Tostada got rid of the bird, like pushed it off, and then Tostada himself being colored. All of that is the vocal point of the scene, so it's colored. Hatsune Miku in this clip is black and white. It's like she's not colored because she's not the point of the scene. It's very geniusly done.
Teaser photos.
You could also see Jaiden's. Oh look, live action footage, but like that works because like that's the vocal point and that's colored too.
Oh.
Look. Jaiden's eyes are Chikawa pink, and that's relevant to show Jaiden's emotion, excitement about this Chikawa Park. As the Chikawa Park live action images are also obviously colored.
Oh my god.
And the oh my god, which makes literal sense as the vocal point of the scene, because aside from that being literally what she said, she's like excited to go to Chikawa Park. That's pink, right? It works.
Chikawa is real. I had to figure out how to go.
So you might be thinking, let's go back to the opening with Chikawa and Momonga. They don't seem relevant to the skin. Why are they like pink blushed? I'll tell you why. Because the entire point is that Jaiden is obsessed with Chikawa. And like, say this was your first Jaiden video. You may not previously know that. These two may not be the vocal point of the scene, but their colored inclusion tells you everything you need to know about Jaiden as a character being obsessed with Chikawa, that being why she's excited to go to Chikawa Park in the first place. Basically, it's just really smart storytelling. And that's something, like, a lot of the times when the color aids the vocal point, it's very literally done. But there's other times when it's done in a more subtle way to showcase something else. Like the point of a character. Even just the point of a single joke. Like, it may not seem like the thing should be colored, but it is colored to aid a point. And I think that's very well done in the Jaiden's ADHD video. Which was, if I can find that, hang on. Like, is a teacher in one gag, and in that gag, she has a red-colored apple and all of these colored school supplies. And that may not seem like a relevant vocal point, but it literally shows the gag that she is a teacher.
If you were paying it.
And like, obviously the pencil is also very well, very very well colored. It's actively colored, the pencil. And that's because it's supposed to aid the vocal point that for this gag, Jaiden's a professor, right? That wouldn't work as well if it wasn't for the fact that these background objects that clearly implies what the point of the gag is are in fact colored. It's a very genius move. And as for the stars being colored, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's to like aid Jaiden's being a professor as well. I'm not entirely sure, but it works very well. And I could keep going on and on like this, but I gotta end the video somewhere. I don't really want to keep the video going on for too long. You probably got the point by now. It's a very genius directorial choice out of Jaiden's videos. I've been noticing a lot recently. For like, since 2020, like 3 or 2024, in fact. It's insane. It's very smart, and I thought I'd finally talk about it. So, yeah. I don't really have, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing next. Actually, I do have some plans, but I'm not entirely sure what my very next video will be. I have, like, a few thumbnails ready, but we'll see. And, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and, that's about it. Bye-bye.